Hello, everybody. I'm getting ready to go to a doctor's appointment, and I have some filming to do this afternoon. It's going to be a very full day, and it's an early start. So I don't have my full lighting today. I don't have my full setup. We had some spraying going on here at the beginning of the week, and things have not really found a home yet because we were doing some different work. I have my hair hats are hung up here now. Things are coming into place, but it's a process. So I'm gonna start by putting on a little sunscreen, my Neutrogena 60 SPF 60, sun protection factor 60, and I am going to follow that with my BB cream, which has another little bit of sunscreen. Now, I don't think it's cumulative. I don't know if it's cumulative or if you add it together and divide by the number of things you put in. I really don't know the math for figuring out sunscreen, but I figure I start with a good barrier, and then I put this in, and I think I kind of help lock it into place. So what I have realized from doing this already is I don't have my mirror here where I normally have my mirror. So I may have to do something about that, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to see to do what I'm doing in here. So I'm going to pause, and then we will be back. Okay, so we are back. I have my mirror here in place, and sadly, without the good lighting, I have like shadow on one side of my face in a weird sort of way that I'm going to have to accommodate. And I do think I'm going to have to find my Visine. I'm just going to put my Visine in, and I'll be back again. Okay, so that's better. Hopefully my eyes will... Oh, they're starting to clear a little bit. Pretty terrible. It is very humid today. I don't think I've ever tried to get ready on a day that's so humid. And we have air conditioning, but it's just not compensating for the moisture in the air in here right now. So anyway, I'm going to turn on some music by White Bat Audio, permission by Carl Casey. This is chill retro synthwave, Endless Night. It's royalty-free, no copyright background music, and that's what we're doing. So I have put on my BB cream. I think I might want to, maybe that's a little loud. I'm going to put on... I've got too much stuff cluttered onto here. Yeah, my makeup thing's usually here. It's kind of back here now. So I'm just adapting and dealing. That's what life is. We just have to adapt and deal with things. I know sometimes when I'm online, people think that I'm being, quite argumentative and stuff, but I only ever speak my truth. Things that I have learned over my well over half a century of being on this planet. So when I have some things to say, it's not just based on my opinions and my feelings and everything else. It's based on experience, things I've seen. And I know a lot of people will think that what they know from their minimal experience is absolutely correct beyond the shadow of a doubt. And I get that. But just something I grew up in a household that's upper middle class, not rich, not poor, not basic middle class, upper middle class. That was a huge distinction that we had to acknowledge in our household. And, excuse me while I take a drag of my cigarette. Terrible thing, don't ever pick it up. So, it's just the way my parents were raised, to believe that, people with money were better people than people without money, which I have learned is absolutely not true. Money has absolutely no bearing on who's a good person and who's not a good person. I have also discovered the same thing about religion. People that say that they are good Christians or good spiritual people, if you have to tell people, you're not. Actions will always prove the truth. And what I have found a lot of times is people that say that, their actions are very contradictory to what they're trying to say. The people that, lead by a good example never seem to have to tell people that they're good Christians or good spiritual people, because they just are and everybody knows, and it just never needs to be discussed. So that's just something I look for automatically. If somebody's telling me, well, I'm a really good Christian, are you then? Because, you have to tell me. Clearly you have doubts. Because if you really believe that, you'd know that your example speaks for itself, and you'd never need to bring that up. I know that people will disagree with that, but anyone that disagrees with that is because they fall into that category. So I'm just going to set that aside now and continue to work that sort of into my face, I think. Anyways, that's just a little bit of where I come from when I'm seeing things, when people are trying to say who they are. People will show you who they are. They don't need to tell you. That's just not how any of that works. Okay, so now I'm going to probably turn into some kind of clay, because I'm
Eileen, and I'm a content creator and entrepreneur at
Let's see if
I
can I skip that?
Adobe Premiere Pro.
I can. Ooh, now we're into cyberpunk dark synthwave. Technological ruin. Yeah, maybe that's what today. Maybe today that is more appropriate. God, I hate this brush. It's natural bristles. I've had it for like 35 years. It came from a company called Fennell, which is, was, I don't know if it still exists that way, but it was an MLM at the time, but it was a good way for me to get some basic makeup stuff for what I was doing at the time, and they weren't really big on follow-up with, getting people on board or, a lot of sales. I just managed to, be able to buy what I wanted at a relatively moderate markup. And that's where I got some of my stuff, and people raved, oh, natural bristle brushes and things of that nature. And natural bristle brushes are not necessarily the best choice. Sometimes they absorb a lot of product, whereas the synthetic bristles don't. They will just move it around. So there's things I have learned in the 35 years, and that does not mean I've been doing makeup for 35 years. It means that's when I first started doing anything at all, and it was because I'm a hairstylist, it was for my clients. I got tired of people coming in to get, their hair done, and then somebody else would go and do their makeup, which meant if I was doing their hair and everything was set, if they had to go to, say, another business, that would all get flattened or moved or pinned out of the way, and then they'd have to adjust it. So it was never my work anymore. And if the people were in my business doing the makeup, then it was fine. I would just leave that. I'd keep it out myself. They'd go do the makeup, and I'd just finish off the last of it, and they'd walk out looking a certain way. So I thought, well, if I knew how to do the basic makeup for, weddings and proms and things like that, that I could just do it all and just make a set price, and then people could save a little bit of money. I get to do all the work myself. It would be worth my time. And so that's where that started, and it gave me a little bit of basics. So I didn't come into this knowing nothing, but I'd never really done anything on me. And that's where I started learning. And I guess that's about 3 years ago now. And that all came from me auditioning and getting cast in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. That's when I first started going out looking for things to looking for things to get for the audition, some clothes. So I went to thrift stores, and that kind of got me into thrifting. So I can trace almost everything now in my life back, everything new in my life, I should say, back to Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, which is kind of interesting to me. Oh, that's a wild and woolly hair. Well, I'll do something about that some other time. Priorities. I still have to get ready. I have to take Scooby out, and then I have to get to the bus stop because it's 2 good buses away. It takes almost an hour to get there to the doctor. It was much closer. It used to be a half an hour walk from me. Now it's like an hour bus ride. So it's very different than when we started. And ironically, I had my partner, Denis, he was going to a doctor way out, kind of where our doctor is now, pretty much the same building. And I had him switch to my doctor because it was much closer and so much easier to, get to an appointment and do all these things. And then the irony of, within, I'd say, just a little over a year from him switching, my doctor moved themselves way out to where his doctor was. And I just think, the irony. So I'm just doing this with eyeshadow. I'm using my Pure Defense palette, and I'm using that kind of dark color there. I never know what anything's called, so if you're here looking for, the names of what I use and everything, I do my best to tell you or show you, but I don't know what things are called. And for the most part, I don't care. I just look at it and go, do I like the look of that? Yes. But the one thing I have learned is that when you see them in here, that's not necessarily how they look specifically on you. So that's kind of one important thing to note. Oh my goodness, why am I listening to these commercials? It's ads. Okay, so now we're under Chill Retro Synthwave Astronomy. Oh my gosh, look at how moist I am. I do think I need some kind of primer, but I want to do, I think I'm gonna go under my, wow, I've got a white pencil, so I'm just gonna do that. And again, I am hoping that with this lighting that I've got going on, I am not making one side of my face much darker than the other, because that will look really silly when I get outside. But, as I always say, things are what they are. It is what it is. It can't be what it's not. Let's see, maybe I can just take my sponge. Put that on. I put some powder in the lid of the powder thing, and so I just want to make sure I'm using it up too. Okay, so that's that part done. Now I'm going to use a primer on my lid, and I don't know which primer I want to use. I think I might go in with my Art Deco, because I don't really like it as much as other ones. So I'm just going to use it up. I find this sort of like, it feels really greasy compared to other ones that I have, and it doesn't seem to mix with the water, like when I say water, I mean sweat that I naturally have going on. So I'm going to see what this does, if I can really make this look okay. Now, I don't necessarily want to set it with powder because I kind of want my eyeshadow to stick to it, but it might end up being really goopy or something, I'm not sure. So I'm going to try and make sure there's not too much. I don't usually try to wipe it off my face after I put it on that way, but for some reason I think that was too much, more than I needed. So what shadow? I think I might just do my MAC. I'm gonna use that as sort of my basic color, and it's shiny, so that's not always the best choice to use for mid-tone. You kind of usually want to use a matte. So I've come to realize from trial and error. So there are things that I know, after having done them now, not necessarily the best thing to do. This has a shimmer to it, like really shimmery. Like the sparkle that you'll see in sand. Only it doesn't feel gritty on the eye, it just feels really nice and maybe I'll go back to my Pure Defense palette and put on, let's see, so what I'm using is the color that was beside the one I used for my brows, which has a bit of a burgundy. It's like a burgundy-ish brown. Brush. And then I'm going to go in with something lighter. I don't know how fast it's going to get stuck in there, so I don't know how long I have to move it around. So I'm trying not to let it sit there too long. I'm going to go back in with the color that I use on my brows. I'll just put that a little bit on the outside here. And something even darker. Fluff that around. And I'm going to use a little bit of
on a whiteboard, no one sees it. With Mural, you can plan together and
skip. Cyberpunk Electro Industrial, the Dark Zone. Okay, so I think I need a little bit of just right under here. And go in with the darkest color now, which is almost black. Okay. Now I've got some shimmers here that I'm going to see about putting right there. I can't believe it is so warm that I'm going to go in now with my kohl pencil. I'm trying to stay right on my lash line when I'm in the center of my eye, or almost to the water line at the front. And that's because my eyes are so hooded, I don't really want to take away any more real estate than I absolutely have to from my eye spots, from my eyeshadow places. Okie dokie. So we have So yeah, I have like a little bronzer stuff to do and whatnot, but that's about it. So I'm going to let everybody go with this, and until the next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.